Hello and welcome to Reviews. You know, I forgot that this came out last week. I've been a little distracted. My car is in the dealership for a recall and a fight to get a loaner, and that's been kind of top of mind. And them Marvel putting this out every 2 weeks has been throwing me off too. So yeah, you remember how I said in the previous review of X-23, the first issue? I said it was actually pretty okay. It had an interesting plot point with the Stepford Cuckoos, and I was pretty interested. I wasn't seeing the most of the tropes that Mariko Tamaki tends to fall into. Unfortunately, all that goodwill is already gone by the second issue. In fact, let's just pop into this because I got really annoyed before we even got into the issue proper. So on the recap page, let me kind of zoom in here. There's something I really want to point out. What Laura doesn't know, though, is blah 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 has kidnapped Dr. Marks and used her to reanimate their two dead sisters. This was not actually said in the previous issue. Um, it was hinted to, granted, obviously the cuckoos were connected with the kidnapping in some way, but this this was never actually said. Um, and they used Dr. Marks to reanimate. This is one of Mariko Tamaki's problems I complained about with the She-Hulk series. She ignores the show Don't Tell. We're not even into the issue yet, and she's already broken one of the kind of unwritten rules of storytelling, I guess you could say. Oh, not even into the issue yet. So then we open up to a funeral for the Cuckoos, one of them, the first one that died, and even though it's technically a dream, another Mariko trope, starting with a flashback. And talks about how it's complex when you're a mutant, probably, death is hard. We don't do it very often, so they don't do funerals, and it's even worse when you're a clone. That's a neat thing about the cuckoos and X-23 is they are playing with the whole clone thing, the similarities. That's kind of interesting. I do like that part. And to be honest, I've never cared about the Stepford Cuckoos before. They never really, when Grant Morrison introduced them, I didn't care about them. So it turns out that that little flashback was actually just a dream, and that something is wrong. So Mindy, she's the triplet, I guess, whatever's left. Um, she's she's the one that has like a conscience in this. She says something's wrong. So then they go and they find out that yes, the fifth sister is dead. So they're back to a quartet. You got the old one. I've already forgotten which one it is. That basically killed the other one. So, and they talk about interesting. Worse, you're a casualty of someone else's plot. That happens a lot when you're not human. Now, is she talking about mutants? Is she talking about clones? Mutant clones? They try to be really deep in these first couple pages. Um, but that's Mariko writing. And then we come to Laura, who's in bed, and she gets woken up. Oh, pancake time. Honey Badger's jumping up on the bed, and oh, food. What are we at? Like 4 or 5 pages in? We've already had the flashback. We've already gotten to the food. We've done the show Don't Tell. Yep, Mariko's just phoning it in, just relying on all her past tropes. And start having this stupid conversation about what do normal people without the super metabolism have for breakfast? I bet they just have a banana. You know, Gabby's hyperactivity in the first issue. Um, I I overlooked it. Well, I should say I overlooked it. I was okay with it because they showed when she was in the middle of battle. And if you've ever dealt with kids, especially hyperactive kids, when they're overstimulated, if they're already predisposed to being hyperactive and then they get overstimulated, they're going to be like that. When she was doing the whole pretzel thing after the battle, and I feel like a literal pretzel. I overlooked that. It's like, okay, it's a comic relief. It's coming from one character who's young, doesn't have a lot of experience. She's a clone of a clone, and um, yeah, if she's overstimulated by battle, she would become a motor mouse. I was okay with that. You know, um, but here we find that this is just she's just an idiot. you know, uh, I bet they have just a banana. I'm glad that's not me. I'm sure regular people have pancakes. It's almost like, what is it they say? These SJWs don't know how to human. And then she's obsessed again with the whole birthday thing. What if we had our birthday next week? We could pick a celebrity who has their birthday next week, and then we could have a giant party. I think Evan Rachel Wood's birthday is next week. By the way, this whole birthday thing is, I don't know if they're building up to something. I don't give Mariko a lot of um, I don't think she's really capable of doing something like that, something that's subtle. And by the way, Rachel Evan Wood's birthday, I looked it up. It's September. It's actually, she and I have the same birthday, as a matter of fact. So, not the same year, just a little bit of plume trivia there. But, of course, they have these 4 pages where it's birthdays, and that Laura doesn't want to tell Gabby her birthday, and why do you have to be a party pooper? And then there's this. Let me go back. Let me pull back a little bit. The pacing on this is bad. 4 wasted pages to get to that Laura is going to work off the information about that Dr. Marks that Hank gave her. You could have done all this in 1 page. Just 1 page. And even worse, this kind of bothers me. We have, talk about the being a party pooper. And then we just have this one panel of, I presume it's Laura putting her cup down. Why? What does this symbolize? I mean, this had to be put in, drawn, the notes. The script would say Laura puts her coffee cup down. We don't know whose coffee mug this is because it's blank. Because if you look, oh dear, Laura's cup has an L and Gabby's has a G. And this shows the other side that doesn't have a coded letter on it. 4 pages. Just to have the goofy, oh, birthday discussion not over, and I broke a lamp with my nunchucks. Um, clean it up. That's not what Wolverines do. You might be right about that. It's almost like 2 different conversations are going on and they just spliced it all together. They try to make it funny. We're going in circles. Wait, where are we going after we're going in circles? No, this is not humor. Excuse me there. Mariko, you're not funny. I've said it before, stop trying to be funny. So then we cut back over to the Stepper Cuckoos, who they now found out that their one sister's dead, and they're upping their plan by moving out of the X-Men. And no one is noticing that they're walking out with suitcases here, and Mindy is showing that she's having, which I presume is Mindy, that she's having second thoughts because the other two have been having to keep her in line. What the hell is this? Why is there a cow in a classic X-Man costume? What What is this? Yeah, I like to think that this is a real cow that they just put a costume on, and they trick the other X characters into thinking it's actually a mutant. And why am I not focusing? Come on, focus. Anyway, we cut back to Laura, who goes to investigate the Dr. Mark's disappearance. So she goes to her place of work, and oh God, no, 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 no! Do not bring David Bowie into this crap. No, bad, Mariko, bad, bad, bad. Stop trying to be funny. So yeah, Laura's talking about she's thinking about how she didn't have a home growing up. All she had was the lab. She doesn't have any memories, any happy connections. So she gets to this lab and, hello, X-23. Thank you for coming. Um, Now I don't understand. I looked it up. I didn't see any reference before to this Gene. I hate saying that, to this company in Marvel. Um, so Hank called ahead, uh, and just he greets her with her code name instead of saying hey Laura, or he obviously is on good terms with Hank because he doesn't say you know he doesn't say Beast or Dr. McCoy. He calls him Hank, so he's obviously friends, but not Miss McKinney or whatever. No, just X-23. Is this to remind the reader that she's not Wolverine anymore? So, talking about, Laura asked this doctor about about Dr. Marks, if how long she'd been missing, and we're not sure. She's always a little in and out. The smart ones are like that. So maybe a few days, maybe a week. I can tell you the days that my coworkers are off. The people I work with. I pay attention, and stuff's obviously they have to be on some type of project that they have deadlines and milestones to hit, and missing a key staff person does not raise any flags. You don't know, well, we haven't seen them since Tuesday. But don't think about it, because then we're getting stupid birthday jokes from Gabby. I shouldn't say joke from Gabby, but talk about the whole birthday thing. So, does she have a workstation? A lab? Well, no, we have a cardboard box and a little pet bed that she works off of. Of course she does. Her laptop is encrypted, obviously, in case you're thinking of encrypted. Right. So, it's funny, she'd be pleased if she knew you were here, because her work was on the immune system and mutation. Fascinating stuff. Interesting stuff, but Laura is saying that she's just going to take all your precious work and put it in a big pile and burn it. Fascinate that. This whole thing seems so weird that all this work could be used, and she just wants to destroy it. It was what we were seeing in the previous issue, and while she's trying to find this doctor, maybe it's just me. You have information like that, keep it out of, bad people's hands, but do you really want to destroy research? And she's going to track the doctor by her Fitbit. Fit, Fat, Foom. That doesn't even really make sense. That does not make sense. Stop trying to go for puns. Stop trying to be funny. At least with the whole Genie thing, okay, haha, I see what you're going for. It's a pun. See, it's like the song, remember? David Bowie, we all love both. Fuck you, Mariko. Fuck you. Instead of being Fing Fang Foom, which is of course a giant Marvel dinosaur that wears shorts, it's a Fitbit called Fit Fat Foom. This makes no sense. As far as going for a joke, you see, Fitbit, it starts with an F. Fang Fang Foom starts with an F. So, and we'll put fat in there, you see? Because people love to buy products with the word fat in it, especially when they're working out. Because this is totally related to a dragon. You see? You see how you make the connection? You see? You see? Not funny. This is not funny. This is the kind of joke that you come up with at 12:30 a.m. while crying over a scoop of Ben & Jerry's. So she's using a Fitbit to track where the doctor went, which leads her to a church. Right, so you just ran off to a nice old abandoned church at the end of the city. Hooray. You already know she disappeared. What makes you think that she ran off there? She put on her Fitbit. I'm not going to call it a Fit Fat Foom. I refuse to. She ran off to this church. Well, she left, and your immediate thought is that she ran off to the church. No. If she's been gone for days, you think that she was abducted or something happened to the Fitbit that ended up at this church. But still, she has to check it out, and I'm going to skip a couple pages because I just kind of put it over to here. She walks into the church. She says she smells death. I don't want to get the copyright here. And she hears a noise, and she pops her claws, and it's Gabby. Gabby says, that she's there because Laura texted her. And Laura, of course, says, I didn't text you. In which case, the cuckoos come and say that they actually texted Gabby to come. And they get a little philosophical, and, no one has any choice in it. We chose to protect the four. We all make choices. And that their plan is already in motion. And I'm going to cut back here, because this is where, and this is a personal issue that I have. I have color blindness. I have no idea what is going on. I have trouble seeing reds. This is all a blur. So I can make out what they're saying here. When it gets up in here, this is hard for me to read. The red kind of bleeds over into the... Colorblind people might be able to... They'll understand this. I'm trying to explain it. It kind of blurs over on this. Where it says death and suddenly everywhere. Laura, I guess, calls for Gabby. I can't make out what is going on here. Squinting at it a little bit, and I can kind of see a face here. And then we get over to here, and I'll be honest, I have no idea what's going on. I'm sure this is one of those things that looked really cool. It's probably a cool design. I can make out white here, and looks like a reverse question mark here. So, going by what they say something's wrong. I know I already said that. Who am I fighting? I'm fighting the cuckoos, which means this is all some type of trippy mind game. Which, of course, I can't tell you. I can't even see this. That's a personal beef, I know, but... yeah, this whole... I can't even describe what's going on. I'm thinking about doing a scan of this and darkening, making it black and white so I can actually see what's going on with some of these darker bits. Some of this isn't as bad as the previous page. This is just... I honestly cannot tell what's going on here. I see like a little bit of darkness up here, but you guys don't care about my inability to see red. So we cut back and we find that Gabby has been kidnapped. And obviously the Stepford Cuckoos have taken her, and that's the end of the issue. And I can't believe I've already gone on 20 minutes on this. Um, yeah, one issue, and I already lost all the goodwill that I had from the previous issue, from the first issue. She's fallen right back into her tropes. And, I'm not even gonna hold this against her. Where is it? Yeah, I'm not gonna hold this against her because that's my inability. I wish it was a little bit darker. Actually, when I look at it through my phone, I can actually see it a little bit better here. But that's just me. I'm not going to hold this against her. But basically, giving away plot details that could have been demonstrated in the previous issue, starting with a flashback. Oh, look at this. Let's talk about food. That's what we do. Mariko has never had an issue where people weren't eating or talking about food. And, yeah, we're going to go with, oh, we're funny. Look how funny we are. Screw this issue. I had hopes. I am a fair guy. I liked the first issue. Why didn't, if this was the Cuckoo's plan, why didn't they text Gabby in the first place? This whole thing doesn't make sense if I didn't show those pages, obviously, but, the Stepford Cuckoos say that they're the ones who paged Gabby to come there. Why now? Couldn't they have done that earlier? This just seems a little contrived that it just happens when X-23 happened and they made her think that, they made Gabby think that Laura texted her. Is this an oversight? I don't think she's that. I don't think Mariko's that capable, that she's that talented. So, one issue run, and then back into the old habits. Oh, we'll see if it picks up next issue. I only expected to talk for about 12 minutes here, so I apologize. If you watch this, thanks for watching.